Imagine waking up to a world that's eerily silent. No hum of appliances, no buzzing phone, no traffic noise. At first it feels like a lazy Sunday. But then you realize your phone's dead. The lights won't turn on and your car won't start. This isn't just a power outage. You've just lived through an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, and life as you know it has changed in an instant. But here's the good news. Some everyday items can still work after an EMP, and having them could mean the difference between chaos and survival. Stick around as we reveal 10 cheap household items that could save the day. Don't forget to subscribe for more life-saving tips. 1. The power of manual hand tools. When the grid goes down and electronics are rendered useless, manual hand tools become your ultimate survival allies. Forget about your fancy power drill or electric saw. Those are now just dead weight. What you'll need are the basics: a sturdy hammer, a reliable wrench, a handsaw, screwdrivers, and maybe even a crowbar. These tools, powered by nothing but your own strength, are the backbone of self-reliance in a post-EMP world. Think about it, how many of us actually know how to use these tools effectively? A 2024 survey revealed that over 60% of adults under 45 in the US never even used a manual saw or wrench. That's a staggering statistic, and it highlights just how dependent we've become on technology to solve our problems. But when the lights go out and the internet is gone, there's no YouTube tutorial to guide you through fixing a broken pipe or patching a leaky roof. You'll be on your own, and your ability to wield these tools could mean the difference between a livable home and a disaster zone. FEMA's 2023 Emergency Preparedness Report emphasized the alarming decline in basic repair skills, especially in urban areas. Imagine this: it's 3 days after an EMP blackout, and a pipe bursts in your basement. Water is flooding in, and there's no plumber to call. If you don't have the tools or the know-how to fix it, you're in serious trouble. The same goes for shelter. Could you patch a roof, build a barricade, or split firewood if you had to? These aren't just hypothetical scenarios. They're real challenges you could face in a long-term grid-down situation. Even rural preppers have reported shortages of basic hand tools in hardware stores since late 2020. That's because people are starting to realize their importance in a world where electronics can't be relied upon. A simple handsaw, a set of screwdrivers, or a crowbar could make you the most resourceful person in your neighborhood. These tools don't need batteries, software updates, or a power source. They just work. And in a world where everything else has gone silent, that's priceless. So are you ready to go hands-on, or are you still hoping the lights will come back on? The time to prepare is now, because when the grid fails, the manual tools in your garage could be the key to your survival. 2. Protecting electronics with a DIY Faraday cage. An EMP doesn't just knock out the power grid, it fries anything with a circuit board. That means your phone, your generator, your car, and even your fancy smartwatch could be rendered useless in an instant. But here's the good news: you can protect some of your essential electronics with a simple, cost-effective solution: a Faraday cage. A Faraday cage works by blocking electromagnetic pulses, and you don't need to be a scientist to make one. All it takes is a galvanized steel trash can, some cardboard, and aluminum tape to seal the lid. That's it. This DIY solution is not only cheap, but also incredibly effective. FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security have both endorsed Faraday cages as a viable method for protecting electronics in an EMP scenario. Now, let's talk about what you should store in your Faraday cage. Think about the items that could be lifesavers in a grid-down world: a crank radio to stay informed, walkie-talkies for communication, and maybe even a small solar charger to keep other devices running. Without these, you'll be completely in the dark, literally and figuratively. The 2008 U.S. EMP Commission report warned that an EMP attack could cause cascading failures of critical infrastructure. Without a way to communicate or gather information, you'll be flying blind in a chaotic world. Most people don't realize that everyday items like cookie tins, ammo boxes, and even filing cabinets can be converted into Faraday cages. So before you toss out that old metal container, think about how it could protect your survival essentials. The real question is, how many of your critical devices are safe from an EMP right now? If the answer is none, you're not ready. When the pulse hits, what you've stored in your Faraday cage could be the only lifeline you have. It's a simple step that could make a world of difference. So, take the time to prepare now, because once the blackout begins, it'll be too late to start thinking about protection. 3. Bicycles, the ultimate grid-down transportation. Imagine this: an EMP strike hits, and within seconds, 90% of vehicles on US roads are rendered useless. That's not a wild guess. It's a finding from the 2008 EMP Commission report, supported by the Department of Homeland Security. Modern cars are packed with microchips, and when those fry, your $40,000 SUV becomes nothing more than an expensive lawn ornament. So what's your backup plan? The answer is simple: a bicycle. Bicycles don't rely on circuits, batteries, or software updates. They're powered by nothing but your own muscle and determination. In a world where fuel is unavailable and roads are clogged with abandoned vehicles, a bike can get you where you need to go fast. Whether it's reaching a stranded family member, scouting for supplies, or simply escaping a dangerous situation, a bicycle is a reliable and efficient mode of transportation. But here's the catch. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, only 12% of Americans use a bike regularly, and even fewer have one ready for emergencies. Is your bike in working condition? Do you have spare tires, a repair kit, or even a basic helmet? These are questions you need to answer now, not after the blackout. And let's not forget about e-bikes. While most modern e-bikes are packed with electronics that would be fried in an EMP, some simpler models could survive if stored in a Faraday cage. These bikes, especially those with off-grid charging options, could be a game-changer in a long-term crisis. Imagine being able to travel long distances with minimal effort, even when the grid is down. In a blackout world, the quiet hum of bike tires might be the only sound of hope left on the streets. So don't wait until it's too late. Make sure your bike is ready to roll, because when the pulse hits, it could be your only way to navigate the chaos. 4. The life-saving warmth of a wood-burning stove or fire pit. When the power grid collapses, you lose more than just electricity. You lose heat, the ability to cook, and even the means to boil water. But with a wood-burning stove or a simple fire pit, you can reclaim control over these essential needs. These tools don't rely on gas or electricity, making them invaluable in a post-EMP world. They provide warmth, hot meals, and even a way to purify water, all of which are critical for survival. Consider this: over 40% of U.S. homes rely on electricity as their primary heat source, according to the Energy Information Administration. That means nearly half the population could be left shivering in the cold after an EMP or a major power outage. Now imagine it's the dead of winter, with temperatures plunging below freezing. Your neighbor's generator is useless. Solar panels are buried under snow, and the gas lines are down. Meanwhile, you're sitting by a crackling fire, sipping hot soup because you had the foresight to prepare. FEMA has repeatedly warned that extreme cold following a disaster can be just as deadly as the event itself. Hypothermia can set in at temperatures as mild as 50 degrees, especially for children and the elderly. So, what's your plan when the thermostat drops to 30 degrees and the power isn't coming back? Wood is one of the most accessible resources available. Branches, fallen trees, and cut logs can all be used to fuel your fire. A fire pit in your backyard isn't just for summer barbecues anymore. It becomes a survival tool. In a world without gas or electricity, the ability to cook a hot meal or stay warm could mean the difference between life and death. And let's not forget the psychological comfort a fire provides. The glow of a fire can bring a sense of normalcy and security in an otherwise chaotic situation. So, don't wait until you're freezing to realize the importance of a wood-burning stove or fire pit. Prepare now, because when the grid goes down, fire will be your best friend. 5. The critical role of a crank or battery-powered radio. When the power grid fails, you lose more than just electricity. You lose information. In a true blackout, you won't know what's happening or what's coming next. No phones, no internet, and no way to stay informed. Cell towers, which often have backup power for only 8 to 24 hours, will go offline, leaving you completely in the dark. This is where a crank or battery-powered radio becomes a lifeline. Unlike modern devices that rely on electricity or Wi-Fi, a crank radio operates with a simple turn of a handle. It's a low-tech solution to a high-tech problem, and it can keep you connected to the outside world when everything else fails. FEMA and NOAA both recommend having an emergency weather radio that can pick up NOAA all hazards alerts. These alerts cover a wide range of emergencies, from severe storms to chemical spills, nuclear incidents, and yes, even EMP attacks. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting at home thinking everything is fine, but 30 miles away, a nuclear plant has issued a silent evacuation order. Without a radio, you wouldn't hear it. You'd stay put, unknowingly keeping your family in harm's way. During Hurricane Ian in 2022, entire communities were left in the dark after cell towers failed. Local radio stations became the only source of vital information, broadcasting updates on road closures, food distribution points, and rescue operations. Now, imagine an EMP causing a nationwide blackout. Without a crank radio, you'd be completely cut off. Modern crank radios often come with additional features like solar backup, built-in flashlights, and even USB ports to trickle charge a phone if it still works. These versatile devices are more than just radios. They're multifunctional survival tools. Yet, according to a 2023 Pew Research study, only 13% of Americans feel very prepared for a disaster. That means 87% of people are unprepared to access critical information when it matters most. So, when the grid goes silent, will you be listening or guessing? A crank radio is a small investment that could make a huge difference. Don't wait until it's too late. Get one now and ensure you're ready to hear what matters most when it matters most. 6. The timeless reliability of candles, oil lamps, and lanterns. What's the first thing people reach for when the power goes out? A flashlight. Then their phone. But what happens when the batteries die and your phone becomes nothing more than a cold, useless brick? That's when the panic sets in. Not just because it's dark, but because you're suddenly vulnerable. Light is more than just a convenience. It's a psychological necessity. It provides a sense of safety, control, and normalcy, all of which are crucial in a crisis. After Hurricane Katrina, reports emerged of people huddling around candles, not to read or cook, but simply to feel less alone in the darkness. Now imagine a nationwide EMP blackout. Weeks, maybe even months, without power. FEMA's 2024 report warned that a widespread grid-down event could leave millions in darkness, especially in rural areas where restoring infrastructure takes longer. The average American household experiences only about 6 hours of power outage per year, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. That means most people have never spent more than a single night in total darkness. We're simply not prepared for it. Candles, oil lamps, and lanterns are some of the simplest, most reliable light sources you can have. They don't rely on batteries, circuits, or solar power, making them completely EMP-proof. A single candle can provide hours of light, and oil lamps with extra fuel can last even longer. LED lanterns with manual cranks or solar charging are also excellent options, especially if stored in a Faraday cage to protect them from an EMP. But light can also make you a target. In a blackout, a glowing house stands out like a beacon in the night. That's why smart prepping is essential. Use low-profile lanterns, blackout curtains, and side-facing lights to maintain visibility without drawing attention. Stock up on long-burning emergency candles, oil lanterns, and extra fuel stored safely in metal cans. NOAA has stated that solar storms strong enough to disrupt power grids hit Earth roughly every 100 years. The last one was in 1921, which means we're overdue. The grid in 2025 is more fragile than ever, so don't wait to be the person scavenging in the dark. Stock your light sources now, because when night falls for good, even a single candle could be the difference between fear and peace. 7 mechanical water pumps and gravity filters. Your lifeline to clean water. Water is non-negotiable. You can survive weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. Now imagine this. It's day 4 after an EMP event. The taps are dry, the city's water stations are offline, and the filtration plants are out of commission. Your neighbors are wandering the streets with empty jugs, knocking on doors, desperate for a drop of water. This isn't a hypothetical scenario, it's a reality that has played out before. During the 2003 Northeast blackout, over 50 million people lost power, and in many towns, municipal water systems failed within hours. Here's the hard truth. Over 90% of U.S. water treatment systems rely on electric pumps and digital monitoring, according to the EPA. When an EMP hits, those systems are toast. So, what's your plan when the faucet stops working for good? Gravity-fed water filters, like the Berkey or LifeStraw, are a game changer. These systems don't need electricity or pressure to work. Just pour water in and let gravity do the rest. They're used in disaster zones worldwide and can remove 99.99% of bacteria, viruses, and even heavy metals. If you're lucky enough to have a private well, a manual water pump is your best friend. Deep well hand pumps can pull clean water from over 200 feet underground without motors or electricity, just good old-fashioned elbow grease. But here's the kicker. Many Americans who live on wells have no way to access their water if the power goes out. And if you're relying on rivers or lakes as a backup, remember that those water sources can be contaminated with sewage, chemicals, or even dead animals. Without proper filtration, you're risking your health and survival. During the 2021 Texas freeze, hospitals reported spikes in waterborne illnesses just days after tap service failed. If a cold snap can cause that kind of chaos, imagine what a nationwide EMP blackout would unleash. Don't wait until you're boiling rainwater in a rusty pot over a trash fire. Start preparing now. Store at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for 2 weeks. Invest in a gravity-fed filter, install a non-electric hand pump, and stock up on water purification tablets or iodine drops. These simple steps could mean the difference between life and death when the taps run dry. 8. The security of manual locks and safes. Picture this. It's the 7th night of a total blackout. The power is out, the police are overwhelmed, and the streets are eerily quiet. Suddenly in the dead of night, you hear footsteps outside your door. Someone is testing your locks, your heart races as you reach for your safe, hoping to grab a flashlight, some cash, or maybe even a weapon. But when you press the keypad, nothing happens. The screen is your high-tech electronic safe has become a useless hunk of metal. This is a scenario most people never consider. We're told to invest in security, so we buy smart locks, fingerprint safes, and keypad vaults. But in an EMP scenario, these devices fail just like everything else. According to CISA, unshielded electronic devices, including locking mechanisms, are highly vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses. That fancy digital lock on your front door, it's only as good as the power it depends on. After Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico in 2017, looting and home invasions skyrocketed. Families were left defenseless as criminals took advantage of the chaos. In a long-term blackout, your home becomes your fortress, and if you can't secure it or access what's inside, you're in serious trouble. This is where old-school solutions shine. Mechanical safes with dials or keys are immune to power loss. Traditional door locks, padlocks, and deadbolts may not be flashy, but they're reliable when it matters most. Ask yourself this: if the power went out tonight, could you access your essentials in under a minute, or are you relying on electronics that might never work again? Don't wait until you're locked out in the middle of a crisis. Invest in mechanical locks and safes now. They're simple, effective, and EMP-proof. Because when the grid goes down, security isn't just about keeping others out. It's about keeping your family safe. 9 solar flashlights and chargers. Harnessing the power of the sun. When the grid goes down, the sun becomes your most reliable source of energy. Even in a total EMP blackout, the sun will rise every morning, and with the right tools you can turn that sunlight into a lifeline. Solar flashlights and chargers are not just convenient, they're essential. Imagine it's been 5 days since the EMP hit. Your regular flashlight batteries are dead, your candles are nearly gone, and you're starting to feel the weight of isolation. Then you pull out your solar flashlight, leave it on a windowsill for a few hours, and suddenly you have light, comfort, and hope. But here's the catch. Solar devices are not immune to EMPs. Like any modern electronic, they contain delicate circuitry that can be fried in an instant. That's why it's crucial to store your solar gear in a Faraday cage. A simple metal ammo can lined with cardboard or a trash can with a tight-fitting lid and aluminum tape can shield your devices from an EMP. It's not high-tech, but it works. Solar flashlights and chargers offer more than just light. Many models come with additional features like built-in radios, USB ports, and even small fans. These tools can keep you connected, informed, and comfortable in a grid-down world. The National Renewable Energy Laboratory reported in 2024 that solar devices are becoming more efficient, with some pocket-sized panels capable of charging a phone or flashlight in just a few hours of sunlight. However, having solar power also comes with risks. In a blackout, a glowing house can attract unwanted attention. Use blackout curtains and keep your lights pointed inward to avoid becoming a target. Solar flashlights and chargers are a small investment with a big payoff, but only if you're prepared to use them wisely. Don't wait until the lights go out to realize their value. Start preparing now, because the sun isn't going anywhere, and neither should your ability to harness its power. 10. Non-electric vehicles. The key to mobility. Imagine waking up the morning after an EMP blackout. Your phone is dead, the power is out, and the silence outside is unsettling. You grab your gear, load up your family, and head to the driveway. But when you turn the key in your car, nothing happens. Not even a click. Your modern SUV, your electric car, even your backup generator, all fried. This is the harsh reality of an EMP. According to the EMP Commission, most vehicles built after the early 1980s are vulnerable to electromagnetic pulses because of their integrated circuit boards. So what still works? Older vehicles with simple mechanical systems and no onboard computer. That rusty old pickup truck your neighbor drives? That carbureted dirt bike from the 70s. They just became the most valuable vehicles on the block. In a post-EMP world, transportation is power. Without it, roads become ghost towns. Supply chains break and hospitals are unreachable. The ability to move quickly and efficiently could mean the difference between survival and disaster. During the 2021 Colonial Pipeline attack, gas shortages caused widespread panic, and that was without an EMP. Now imagine a nationwide blackout with no working vehicle. FEMA has warned that transportation disruptions after a large-scale grid failure could lead to massive delays in medical response, food distribution, and public safety efforts. That's why every serious prepper has a backup plan. A bicycle is a good start. A gas-powered scooter with no electronic ignition is even better. But an old diesel truck with no electronic components, that's the gold standard. If you're truly prepared, you'll also have spare ignition parts stored in a Faraday cage, just in case. In a post-EMP world, the most valuable vehicle won't be the one with Bluetooth and heated seats. It'll be the one that starts when you turn the key. So ask yourself, if you had to leave right now, could you, or would you be stuck, surrounded by dead cars in a city descending into chaos? Don't let your transportation become a liability. Prepare now. Because when the lights go out, mobility is survival.